All right, thank you all for coming. Today we're marking 1 year anniversary since we introduced robotics into the DNA labs that the state runs through BCI. And this has been really a revolution for us in the pace and progress of the labs. The robotics, really the best way to describe it is like taking a prior process that was like piecework and craft work and turning it into a modern assembly line. It not only speeds up the pace tremendously, but it introduces better quality control, reduces human error, and makes us very much more productive. As a result of the fact that we've been able to reduce response times in the DNA lab significantly through these improvements, we are now offering some new services to local law enforcement that we were unable to offer before. First of all, we're bringing back in-house the CODIS DNA sampling that we do, where we take the DNA and put it into the combined database, which is the database against which we test to get hits in criminal investigations. That was always outsourced before. We had too much of a backlog of work. That's coming back in-house, and as a result, each of those samplings will be faster. What used to take 90 days when it was outsourced is now taking 30 days or less. In addition, we are working crimes against the database in a faster process as well. And as a result, we are now able to upgrade the priority on some things that we could not really do before. And one of those examples we want to highlight is we are now taking blood samples from property crimes around the state and hitting them, doing the DNA analysis and hitting them against the database, which is a sea change for us. We're following the lead of Georgia and Florida, which are two other states that have pioneered this. They have found, as we expect to find as well, that a high number of property crimes are committed by a small number of people. It's a high repeat rate crime, a high recidivism rate. A lot of those people are in the database, and we've had a number of examples, and Chief Martin from the Franklin County Sheriff's Office is going to detail one today, and there's others in your handout as well, where that is allowing us to identify and catch perpetrators that we could not do before. I'm going to step aside, let Chief Martin describe the Franklin County case as an example of this, and then I'm going to come back and talk about the establishment of the Sexual Assault Kit Testing Commission, which is another thing we're going to undertake to do as a result of the fact that we're faster. But before Chief Martin comes up, let me just say that as of August of this year, BCI so far has tested 334 blood samples using robots at the London and Richfield labs. Of those samples, 176, more than half, 53%, got a hit to a known individual in the state's combined DNA index system, the CODIS system I referred to before. 81 others matched to a known individual, such as an existing suspect, and 15 more linked to other unsolved cases. So when you add all these results, the robots have advanced the case 81% of the time. And we have sent out this poster to all local law enforcement agencies around the state to let them know that whereas they didn't used to submit blood samples from property crimes to our labs because we were backlogged and could not get to those lower priority items, we had prioritized violent crimes, of course, we now do want them to submit those to us, and we will help them apprehend suspects in this crime. So I'll pass it to Chief Martin and then come back.
Thank you, General. Appreciate it. Good afternoon. I just want to thank the General for giving us a chance to profile one of our cases. On May the 9th, 2010, this year, there was a burglary at 2122 Myrtle Avenue, which is in Mifflin Township, which is the east side of Franklin County. Pretty extensive damage in the home. They took a lot of copper piping out of it, and they let the water run, and took several TVs, DVR, and items of that nature. When the detectives arrived on the scene, they found that there was some, what they thought was blood evidence at the time. As usual, they collected it. It was actually taken to the BCI lab in London on the 14th, and 26 days later, we got a DNA profile back on that. I understand now, as of today, we probably have a CODIS hit on that. So I guess in support of what the Attorney General said, using the robotics has really made a big difference as far as the turnaround time on these DNA profiles. And with that, I thank you. I'll be around if anybody would like to ask any questions.
Okay. Thank you. The other thing that we're doing now as a result of the fact that we have improved productivity and greater capacity now in our crime labs is we're announcing today the establishment of a Sexual Assault Kit Testing Commission. And we've given you a packet that lists the members of that commission who have agreed to serve from across Ohio and broadly representative of law enforcement and crime victims group. Our effort here is going to be designed to take a look at the fact that there are backlogs of sexual assault kits in a number of departments around the state that have never been submitted for testing. We're going to be working on a statewide protocol that everybody can accept and work with to figure out when sexual assault kits will be tested and when not. Some other states have moved forward, and we watch carefully what other states do. In Illinois, the legislature recently passed a new law that requires every sexual assault kit to be tested. We will work with law enforcement to figure out what our protocols should be in Ohio, but we definitely want to get more of these kits tested and get that evidence into our database because we know that sexual offenders often are repeat offenders as well. And the Soul case in Cleveland was another wake-up call for law enforcement around the state that we do need to be more vigorous in how we deal with the sexual assault testing kits. So that commission will be getting underway. We've scheduled the first meeting when I'm a little less busy in mid-November, and we will be moving forward with that. Here with me today also are Steve Green, who is Deputy Superintendent at BCI. He heads up the crime labs there. Abby Schwaderer and Emily Draper, who work in the crime labs, are with me as well, in case you have any questions that are of a detailed variety that I can't answer. So with that, happy to deal with any questions you might have.
There's anyone on the phone.
And anyone on the phone, what is that? They have to press *1 to unmute if they want to ask a question.
Are you admitting that there's a backlog that's out of control with these sexual assault testing that's currently being done at BCI? Is that the reason you're doing this commission?
No, Joe, and I want to be real clear. I don't want there to be garbling or misunderstanding. There's a fair amount of that going on the airwaves. There are sexual assault kits around the state that have never been submitted to BCI or any crime lab. I understand that our 3 crime labs are part of 11 crime lab network in the state for testing. And we want to establish protocols and get everybody on board as to when a sexual assault kit should be submitted for testing and when it should not. There are certainly lots of cases where sexual assault kit is taken at the time and the investigation almost immediately proceeds in a different direction and it's considered not to be a sexual assault, and so they do not submit those for testing. But there are departments that have just gotten backlogged, have not submitted their kits, and we want to clean that up around the state. There was a time when attempting to take that on would have been infeasible for us at BCI because we couldn't have handled the additional volume. Now that we have improved our productivity and reduced our response times, we feel that we can take on some new challenges. The property crimes are one, and testing sexual assault kits will be another. And Senate Bill 77 will be yet a third. We're going to be importing into the database a much higher number of DNA samples when we go next summer to all arrestees on specific crimes rather than only those who are convicted of crimes, which is a result of Senate Bill 77.
Any chance you might get some of these robots and use them for other kinds of testing?
Well, the robots have been an interesting evolution for us. We got our first robots approximately a year ago. We are using them for the CODIS DNA database samples. That's a fairly straightforward activity to work with the robots. The blood samples in property crimes are an expansion of that. Sexual assault kits ultimately will be a different expansion. We've been trying to take it slow and careful with the robots. We don't want to try to do more than they can do, and we're getting used to their capacities and figuring out how they can help us. The last thing we want to do is introduce any kind of quality problem, which we've never had with our labs. Our evidence is first rate. It's admitted in courts, and we do not have any issues with that. And so we've been kind of methodical about how we're introducing the robots into that process to get the speed that they give us without undermining in any way the quality of the work that our lab scientists and analysts do.
How many robots do you have right now?
We are, with the announcements today and with the grant we've gotten, we are on our way to having 12 robots for the labs. That'll certainly be true by next summer. We had either 6 or, we have 6, and then we have 2 more coming online for Senate Bill 77, and then we have 4 more that we're going to be using potentially for sexual assault kit testing. So it's an evolving, growing process for us. But the robots have been a huge success for us, and it's been really introducing that technology into our labs is overhauling our labs enormously. And as our scientists and analysts get more familiar and comfortable with the robots, it has been increasing our productivity tremendously.